a question that Senator Sifuna has just posed to the governor on the timing of the formation of this task force, which was formulated, I think, 11th June. 11th June, I think, a week ago. One would easily interpret it to mean that this task force was supposed to manage and discuss this meeting all the way from June up to, from March, when you received the letter. So this task force came into being some 2 weeks, I think a week ago.
Chair, already a lot of work has gone.
So that question has not been exhausted. That concern is still with us.
No, I'm saying a lot of work has already gone into that, and I want to assure you, by the time the next audit is done, this issue will have been resolved.
Okay, Auditor, what is the status of that concern?
The issue is still outstanding because we've not received any evidence to show that the long outstanding deposits and retention money and gratuity has been fully paid. So, Chair, it can only be resolved once the balances are cleared. Thank you, Chair.
So where did the deposits go to?
Say that again, Chair.
Where did the deposits go to? Because they are long outstanding. Somebody must have taken them, the deposits, and they have not been repaid.
Yeah, actually, the deposits are for contracts, which they pay the deposits up front, and also the retention money is retained as the contracts are being paid.
And nobody is claiming it.
And then after the expiry of the liability period, we expect them to be paid back to the contractors, but they have not been paid. The explanation we've received from the client is that the beneficiaries are not claiming these deposits.
Okay, so it's like the one we had in the morning. We had a claim like that one in the morning, where we have people with 5 years retentions and they're not claiming the money. So what is actually the problem? You can have your officers assist you. Lamu contractors are very rich. You finish your contract and you just say tumieni tu. Wamelipo ya kutosha, so the retentions are...
Let me ask the Director of Accounts to respond.
Yes.
Through the chair, the issue has two aspects. We have the gratuity payments for the contractual employees. These are purely, we say that there are some contracts has been expired, but these employees, they haven't claimed, because we cannot initiate payment if the beneficiaries has not claimed.
What are they supposed to do? What are they supposed to do?
They are supposed to write an official letter and attach all the supporting documents, including their contract and the contract period.
Have you prompted them to write the letters?
Yes, they have those communication.
Do you have any to show that you have communicated to them? Do you have any correspondences?
For now, I don't have.
If we gave you time, would you bring the correspondences?
Yes.
And during the time of audit, why didn't you give the auditor the correspondences to show that this person contract expired 3 years ago, but they have not claimed their gratuity?
Because these are no longer employees of Lamu County,
but
so
they are
we
still
cannot
people...
access maybe the accessibility and knowing where they are can be somehow.
By the way, Chair,
yes.
you know, in this country, I don't think anyone can chase you to bring you your money. I have the same situation with unclaimed financial assets
yes.
at the national level. There's people who just disappear. But my problem, Governor, is that increasingly, you know, I've never been a governor, but many of your colleagues, whenever there is an issue they don't want to resolve, they always throw in a task force. Task forces all over the place. And the reason why I was asking you about the date of this letter, because I feel like you just threw a task force at us, so that when we have this meeting, you say there's something you're doing. But that correspondence that he's asking for could help to demonstrate that you are concerned about the hygiene of your own books, and you need to get this thing out as an audit query for yourself. So you should have provided that correspondence during audit. And in fact, Chair, if you look at the recommendations we've made on all these matters in the financials, from the issue number 1 on inconsistencies and inaccuracies, to inaccurate cash and cash equivalents, to the issue we are discussing on long outstanding deposits and retentions, you will see recommendations there, Governor, for you to take administrative action against your officers who fail to provide documents during audit. And maybe, Chair, that is what we should be discussing. If documents are provided at audit, there's no query. The query goes away. It's that simple. So you should talk to us about the action you've taken with regards to these officers who fail to provide documents during audit.
This particular aspect, Honourable Senator, through the Chair, the action I've taken is to form this task force.
That's not administrative action.
And I am personally following up, because on the retentions, some of them are payable, some are not, because the works that were done were not up to standard. So legally,
that's now the work of the task force, right?
Yes.
To sift through those.
Yes.
But the issue you are not addressing is failure by your officers to provide documentation to demonstrate some of the things you're talking about.
Honourable Senator, sometimes even when the auditors come, the kind of questions they post, it's difficult to, they may ask for a particular thing, then when the report comes, there's something else that did not arise during the audit.
I don't think that is correct, Governor. I happen to also be audited. I am an accounting officer of a fairly large institution called ODM. So when the audit happens, the inception meeting, I sit in those meetings. When we do the exit meetings, we sit in those meetings. When they bring me the management letter, I sit with my team. If there's a document that has not been provided, then the auditor will always specify what document it is. If you don't provide, it is a violation of the law. So that is why there was that.
I also sit in the exit,
yes,
also when they come in, and we try and do our best. But these things happen. They audit, then a different query comes, which was not brought up during the audit.
Patrick, that has never happened with me in the 8 years I've been SG of ODM.
Let's say something through the chair. To just operate through the chair, so that I'll give you, Patrick, an opportunity to speak, but the person who had called for the mic was Senator Gatai. First, then you come.
Chair, I don't want to pray to the gallery. I mean, in the usual setup, are you supposed to prompt these contractors to claim for the retention? Who is supposed to, I thought this is their Monday. You know, once you are done, the contract is done, you just come and claim for your retention.
And just to write
so
on that.
What are those correspondences that you say you have generated?
And then just before you go, just to write on your question, you know, contractor has done a contract. If the works have not been done as per the specification in the bills of quantities, you don't need a task force to say that we're not paying this retention because the work was below par. We don't need a task force at all. So we have 45 million that has not been, in terms of deposits and retentions, that has not been given back to the contractors. What is the problem? Do you need a task force to verify?
Yeah,
you know, our gut instinct to tell us maybe those contracts, after all, were not done.
Chair, some of these contracts date back a couple of years. We have come in and found them. We don't have much information on them. So that's why the task force has to verify and ensure that otherwise, if we just pay, it may expose us.
But Patrick?
Chairman, the comment I wanted to make was the effect that
The auditor will go to the ground and ask for documentation. In fact, on this area of retention, the auditor will ask for registers, retention registers. They'll ask for lists of persons whose gratuity amounts are outstanding, so that the auditor now can conduct further and additional audit tests to be able to come up with the observations. And the auditor is also not obligated to say why they're asking for certain records. So they'll ask for information for them to be able to conduct further tests. Out of those tests, they now come up with these observations. That's it. Thank you, Chairman.
I think that is very useful. So, Governor, why weren't you giving information in good time? Yes? Your director will respond for you on your behalf.
Yeah, maybe for the issue of the register, we have provided the register for the deposit and retention. So we have the list of all the contracts that we have given. So the issue still pending is for the contract that has not completed. For example, we have construction of county headquarters that has gone so many years back, and until now we haven't completed those projects. And there's some money that has been retained specifically for those projects. So these are money accumulated specifically for this.
So, Abbas, is that difficult to explain to the auditor during the time of audit?
We have.
You are explaining it in a very simple manner. So is it possible to say we gave the registers and you know all the deposits and retentions are for these projects? Why can't you give it to the auditor during the time of audit?
Chair, if you might indicate how much is retention on the county headquarters?
For that, I just give an example, but approximately about around 10 million.
So out of this,
but it's just one example that
45 million.
Out of that 45 million, 10 million is for the county headquarters.
Maybe I can give the correct figure.
Yes, Auditor. What would you need so that you can mitigate on this query?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, the client gave us the register, but the register had a variance between what is disclosed in the financial statements and the amount in the register. So we also required a reconciliation, which is yet to be provided.
Okay. So is it a reconciliation issue now?
Yes, and also there are two issues: the reconciliation and clearing of those balances.
Lastly, Chair, on this issue from me, Governor, the explanation you've given on projects, it makes sense. The only problem is a question of the disclosures and the reconciliation. But what is the explanation about gratuities, for instance? Do you need a task force to tell you this is a former employee who left and we owe them money or we cannot reach them?
You know, Senator, there are also ghost employees.
Oh,
They are
ghost employees.
I think so. I think so. I think so. So you need the task force then
We need
to
the
uncover that,
task force.
to catch the ghosts. Yes, Senator Getai.
Chair, did you put on record? Chair, one would be interested to know from the OAG, is this an accounting issue or some loss of funds? And this is another retention, reconciliation, so forth and so forth.
Through the Honorable Chair, as so far as we are concerned, is an accounting issue because it has an element of the balances which were disclosed are not accurate because of the supporting documents do not add up to the amount disclosed in the
It is
financial.
only that limp that is an accounting issue.
Yes.
But the other issue where deposits for projects and retentions are not paid, we want you to confirm and the county to confirm if those projects were actually done. If they are done and the contractors are still living, they are not dead, why aren't they coming for their retentions? Then number two, there are people who are working there and their gratuity balance of 7 million 607,597 has not been claimed. We want to know where they are. Reach out to them. Let them come for their money. Wambeni wanapata shida huko lakini pesa yao iko hapa. Is that okay, Governor? Senator, please come on record. Senator for the great people of Nandi.
Oh, sorry. Good afternoon, Cherargei is my name, Senator of the Republic of Kenya from Nandi County and a member.
So because of time, that audit query will not go. You still need to communicate and engage the auditor in this upcoming audit exercise so that then you see if you can mitigate on it. We'll go to the next one is failure to clear long outstanding pending bills. Auditor, please go through that paragraph. That should be paragraph what? Yes?
Thank you, Chair. It's paragraph 15 on page 15 of the...
Okay. Go through it, please.
Thank you, Chair. Failure to clear long outstanding pending bills. Note 20 on the other important disclosures reflect a balance of 49 million in respect of pending accounts payable. Included in this balance is 9,588,000 relating to pending bills incurred during the year under review, while 29,665,463 is indicated as having been cleared during the year under review, leaving a balance of Kenya shillings 49,122,593, out of which Kenya shillings 39,534,564 relate to a balance outstanding as at 30th June 2023, and which should have been paid as a first charge in line with provisions of Regulation 41, Sub-Regulation 2 of the Public Finance Management County Government Regulations of 2015, which provides that debt service payments shall be a first charge on the county revenue fund, and the accounting officer shall ensure this is done to the extent possible that the county government does not default on debt obligations. Even though management acknowledges that the pending bills are due to their ineligibility that stems from missing or incomplete documentation, the county executive risks incurring additional losses in the form of interest and penalties arising from continued delay in the settlement of the bills. In addition, failure to settle bills during the year in which they relate to distorts the financial statements and adversely affect the budgetary provisions to the subsequent year as they form a first charge. In the circumstances, management was in breach of the law. Thank you, Chair.
In my other life, when I was teaching, I had opportunity to teach writing skills. In this query, you have used one sentence, 8 lines. That is too long. Then we missed the points where you just put in commas, regulations. It's difficult to understand that.
Yeah.
When I was teaching at the university, I put very big question marks first before I start reading. However, because the query is there and we must deal with it, Governor, let's get the response.
Yeah, first let me say, I am sure of the 47 counties. And
Just read verbatim what you wrote as the response.
As a response, I said the county executive formed a committee to verify the pending bills and confirmed that 30,986,058.50 is payable. This amount has been included in the supplementary budget, which has been approved by the Control of Budget, as evidenced by the supplementary budget and the Control of Budget's approval letter. It's in the annex. Additionally, the committee resolved that 6,455,208.50 requires further verification. Payment for this amount will proceed once the necessary supporting documents are provided. However, 11,682,883.28 could not be supported with documentation, and the committee therefore recommended that these should not be paid. And I wanted to say, of the 47 counties, I think I'm the one with the lowest amount of outstanding debts.
You also received the lowest amount of exchange.
Obviously.
You have to express it as a ratio or proportion to what you receive.
As a ratio, we are still the lowest.
That could be true. So before Senator Cherargei comes, what is still subsisting in that audit query?
Thank you, Chair. What is persisting is that the bills are still outstanding. They've not been, all of them have not been paid.
Have they demonstrated that there are some that are ineligible and therefore need scrutiny by a task force?
True, Chair, there is some.
They have demonstrated that.
Yes, they have
that these ones we are not able to pay.
Yes.
Because they need further verification.
Yes.
And so by them doing that, are some that are eligible which have not been paid?
Yes, Chair. And also there are some which they've declared ineligible, not payable.
Yes.
Actually 11 million.
11 million.
Yes. So there we also have an issue that should the owners of those pending bills later come and sue the county, they still stand a risk.
Senator Cherargei first, then
maybe Governor, I've heard you have formed a task force committee.
Yes.
But are you aware of the Kitale High Court ruling on that the person who only verifies pending bills are OAG alone? Number two, you can just note, let me go to question number 2. Are you seized of the motion by the Senate on the payment of pending bills?
Yes, I am.
What about the earlier one, that OAG is the only one under the law that verifies pending bills?
You know, Senator, now you put us at crossroads.
It's the ruling of the court. It is not me. It's the law.
Can I help you, Governor?
Senator Sifuna.
Yeah. What is required is if the entity feels that there is 11 million that is not payable, you write officially to that contractor and tell them that you are not going to pay that money. What that does is that it triggers action from them. Let them go to another forum, if it is the courts, to say Lamu has refused to pay me because of this and this and this. If they are able to get a court order that amount is payable, then your hands are free. So have you written to those entities to tell them that after review of this, and you will have to go to that same court that has declared task forces unconstitutional? The ones that but at least have you triggered the dispute? Just in addition,
If I can just
through the chair.
I thought I had not finished.
Wanted to follow up on
now just let's have order. We are you know, Senator Cherargei, you had like stopped.
No, because my brother Sifuna interjected.
Wanted to assist the government.
Yes.
Now then you can come back.
In fact, in future he must take oath so that if he wants to assist a witness, he can cross the other side. But on a lighter touch,
that's a point of information.
If you listen to me until the end, I actually posed a question to the county government on whether they have triggered the dispute.
Yeah.
Okay, I get the last
Chairman was a follow-up so that I
Can
don't
I
lose my
finish so
thoughts.
that
It was on the issue that has been raised by Sifuna.
Yes,
On
that's right.
the possibility of a court litigation. I just wanted to ask, even before we move from that issue, this 11 million, is it 11 million? You claim to be ineligible, and my name is Okongo Mogeni, Senator Nyamira. The one you claim to be ineligible, did you go through a due process where you gave a hearing to the contractors, maybe you listened to their case before you declare them to be ineligible, or you acted unilaterally without giving them a hearing before you arrived at this conclusion that their debts are ineligible. And you should have thanked, I hope he thanked, did the governor thank us for giving him money for affirmative fund for development?
But I know he will as we
He
move.
will, okay.
Yeah. Just for order, let just the governor respond. Then if you want additional information,
Want to enrich what Senator.
enriching too much.
No, we are here. That's our business, Chair.
Lost the meeting.
That's our business, Chair, to enrich. We want to understand the scope of our.
Are you sure is understanding you're confusing more?
No.
Can I request the governor to be writing, then we ask once, then he answers once, then we move on? Is that better way of handling it? Because
My concern is simple.
Yes.
I just want to know the methodology that the governor used to declare this and that's in the
That's what Senator Morgan asked.
Yes, I want. That is the. He went to spreading so many things.
And finally, Governor, in our action, this will be my final question. In our action on 27 March, when these reports were adopted before the floor of the Senate, you are given 60 days after adoption of this report, which was 27 March this year. On these actions, how many out of the 6 have you complied with? And then, can you provide us with a schedule of the pending bills that you have paid, as in if it is XYZ Company Limited, and the schedule of ineligible pending bills of the 11 million that OAG. If we can see that schedule, Chair, it will assist us. Thank you, Chair, for that indulgence.
Now we have to give it to the governor. Please just respond. Let's see how you will respond.
All right. First, let me appreciate my brother advocates, senators. It's not all related to contracts. For example, the former governor traveled. There is no invitation letter. He traveled outside the country. A huge bill by the agent, and no supporting documents at all, completely. And now, unless the Honorable Chair, you tell us, just go ahead and pay. Otherwise, if I pay such bills, I will get into trouble because there are no supporting documents.
I think what Senator Morgan asked is if you had taken that ineligible pending bills through a process to determine that they're ineligible.
Yes, we did through an internal process. And in some of these, they date back over 6 years, and contracts, after 6 years, they cannot sue us because of the time limit. And we will be able to provide a list that the Honorable Senator, actually it is there in Appendix 1.
Appendix 4.
Sorry, Appendix 4.
In your financial statements?
No, in the response.
In the response.
Appendix 4. In the main document, yeah, the main document.
Yes.
Appendix 4.
Yes.
Appendix 4.
Yes.
So pending bills, verification committee on 10th January 2025.
Page 27.
Page 27. Okay.
It's air travel.
You see the air travel?
Yeah.
That's the former governor.
This is over 20 entries of former travel. I think I see 1.48 million, 225,000. Where was he going?
All over.
He was gallivanting.
There's even an air travel for 6,000.
Maybe to Mombasa.
That's Malindi Lamu.
So, Governor, sorry, Chair. So, on this air travel, is this one you are saying ineligible pending bill? So there was no, but there is a company, Shimsei Travels. They came and defended themselves.
There is a company. It's not a question of them defending themselves. It's a question of whoever traveled to provide the invitation letter if it's official,
Okay.
to provide the boarding passes, to give me copies of the passport to show he actually left the country.
So this was how much? 6.1, including cleaning services.
Yes.
What were you cleaning? What was the, is this also cleaning for what offices? I thought this should be the one for county assembly or what offices for county government.
You see, this is why we say there are ghost workers and ghost services.
Have you, as Senator Sifuna said, after doing this, did you share this information with these companies that they have an eligible pending bills?
Yes, we did with the travel agent.
Have they responded?
You know, it's not up to them because we told them that the guy who traveled has not provided the supporting documents and therefore you follow him so that he can provide the supporting
Governor, you didn't
documents.
get what Senator Sifuna was saying. You are an advocate. You should have triggered the dispute so that they acknowledge the receipt of you denying that they don't owe you. Because the danger is that after some time you have declared ineligible, they can rush to another forum and challenge. And I've told you, the verification process of, was it of Trans Nzoia County, chaired by the former office of the Auditor General, what was his name, the Ouko, was challenged and somebody succeeded in Kitale High Court. So these individuals can go to court using that and say you didn't have the power to form a verification committee. What will be your defense? I agree, I agree that this could be fictitious pending bills, but the dispute is not yet over. So what is the way out?
Are you suggesting that we pay?
No, Chair, I'm not suggesting. What Senator Sifuna asked was simple.
And now, that's why I said,
Yes.
we communicated, this travel agent followed up for payment.
Yes.
And we wrote back and told him, we cannot pay this because we have certain procedures that we need to follow. Otherwise, I'll get into trouble if I just settle your bills.
I think that's clear.
So did you write to any, sorry Chair, did you write to any other companies apart from air travel, all these others that amount to 11 million? Did you write to all of them? And is that letter that you shared this report with them here with us as a next step before I see the ground?
Have you communicated with all the companies?
That amounts to 11 million?
Yes.
Yes.
Because then if you don't do that, they might sue you and it's the county government which will pay for litigation.
Yes.
Some of them turn up to request for payment, and we inform them of the documents that we require to
Governor,
enable us.
so that I
have
don't take a
not
lot-
written.
You have not written?
Apart from the travel agent.
So if today
because he
they
was
get-
very persistent.
So if today they get a court order, you have not communicated, you will pay them.
Surely we'll also defend ourselves in court. It's not a question they just go to the court and get orders.
But the neat way through the chair is to communicate to all of them. Why don't you write a memo, copy them, attach them with the findings of the verification committee, then CC them so that in future you don't face legal hurdles.
We take your advice.
Senator, Dr.
Through you, I just wanted to inquire on these ones you are saying to be verified. There is one which is given as a supply of a laptop. Did you buy a laptop for 1,077,000?
Page?
Page 29. That's one laptop? What type of laptop is that one costing 1,077,000?
Yeah.
Oh, these are laptops, not.
Because
They
it's
made-
there,
they made a
it says
mistake.
there, supply
Yeah.
of a laptop.
It's actually laptops.
Eh?
It's actually laptops.
Is
It's not one. Yeah.
Because I could have said you have created a record, buying a laptop at 1 million.
No.
Okay, thanks for the clarification.
Senator Delegwe.
Chair, on under the eligible, recurrent eligible pending bills. Governor, in that page 27, there is a column for PO number. I believe that is purchase order number. Now, when you go down in that page at the bottom, there is the County Public Service Board, supply and delivery of corporate staff uniforms. There is a PO number, and I think it's under eligible pending bills. Do you want to tell the committee that this purchase order number and these items were not supplied? Supply and delivery of toners under the municipality, supply and delivery of IT equipments, it has a PO number. Supply of printing and advertising items, it also has a PO number. How did you verify that those are items that are not
We found out that they were actually not supplied.
There were no delivery notes?
There were no delivery notes.
There were purchase order, the purchase order numbers were just given, or the purchase order was just given?
And they were not delivered.
Okay.
We can make progress, Auditor. So what do we require from because of time, and we have very many issues, Senator again.
Just one before you rule.
Okay.
So just on Marwa supplies, this supply of laptop, Governor, would you want the committee to take the way it is, or you will withdraw this to go and amend? Because if you say supply of laptop that is 1 million, then it can mislead our report, because some of our colleagues might not be there or have the benefit. Do you have a better copy that can show the number of laptops? Thank you, Chair.
We will provide that information, but it is not a laptop. They were laptops.
But somebody who interacts this for the first time, it's a laptop.
We are human. It's a mistake.
But you are an advocate. You know the cost of committing an error. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Auditor, so what documents will you require so that we can address this issue? What process and maybe documentation?
Thank you, Chair. We will subject now the pending bills to our normal audit procedures in the coming audits for the financial year. So we will require the register for the pending bills. The ones which they have indicated are very eligible. We will require to see the supporting documents. And
so we'll keep the matter in view for
Yes.
the upcoming audit exercise or cycle. Let's go to payment of salaries outside the IPPD. That is 1.2, page 5 of the Auditor General's report.
Thank you, Chair. And also thank you for your comment, Chair, on our reports. We are doing quite some work on report writing. The next one will not be like that. So sorry for that. Review of the payroll records during the year under review revealed that management processed and paid salaries to staff outside the IPPD payroll system, which management acknowledges due to delay by the ministry to issue new personal numbers upon request by the county. So in this, there were other issues on that, but this is 1.2. So that is so far as payment of salaries outside the IPPD is concerned. Thank you, Chair.
Governor.
Thank you, Chair. The county executive has hired employees for various county departments, casual employees. These employees employed through the County Public Service Board temporarily on a need basis and in line with the approved staff establishment. An extract of the staff establishment is attached. Sample application forms, work allocation, schedule, interview, evaluation report, and letter of engagement. We have that as Appendix 6 in our attachments.
Governor, if you look at that response and the auditor's finding, according to the auditor said that he reviewed the payroll records during the year review and revealed that management processed the paid salaries to staff outside the IPPD payroll system, which management acknowledged is due to delay in DPM to issue new personal numbers upon request by county. And then here you come and say, in a response, the county executives have hired casual employees from various county departments. These are employees employed through the County Public Service Board temporarily on a need basis in line with the approved staff establishments. You are saying these ones are employed on temporary basis, might not be paid through IPD. And here,
I think, Chair,
the auditor that
we are addressing two different documents. We thought we were coming for the recommendations.
yes, but even as we look
because,
at the
because the report we have already appeared before the Senate. And
this
then
report,
yes, and we submitted.
or you submitted?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a bit untimely.
And then there was the recommendation by the Senate, and that's actually what we were addressing.
George, had this county appeared before us?
Even as we checked here, I'm just wondering, part of the justification you were saying why you don't follow the IPPD system, okay, is that you pay them manually because they have to wait between 3 weeks to about 3 months. I mean, 3 weeks to 3 months, that's normal in government for you to wait for your name to enter the payroll. Why can't you just wait for that period, then you properly pay through the IPPD system? 3 weeks, that's what you say. They have to wait for 3 weeks. Is that an inordinate delay to enable you start saying?
It actually takes much longer than that. We had raised a complaint with the
because that's, I'm reading your own reply. You are saying it takes about 3 weeks to a maximum of 3 months. And I'm saying that's normal when you engage somebody into government to have that delay before your name is in the IPPD system. I mean, what I'm saying is you should avoid this idea of looking for an excuse why you should pay manually. Otherwise, it will still occur as an audit query. Am I right, auditor? As long as you are not complying, it will still be in your books as an audit query. Unless I'm being misled, auditor?
Chair, yes.
As long as you don't follow the law, it will be an audit query for you.
Yes.
So you would rather just comply with the law. Whoever is joining the government should know he or she will wait between 3 weeks to 3 months so that it doesn't become an audit query. Imagine, Governor, us sitting here again next year discussing the same audit query.
Through the chair, can I ask my human resource manager to respond to that?
The HR manager asks, Auditor, the way you framed this query, it's like all workers are paid outside FPD. You know, review revealed that the management processed and paid salaries to staff outside IPPD system.
Thank you, Chair.
All of them was some number.
The ones who should be paid through IPPD at that time of when the audit was being conducted for that financial year were not being paid. And Chair, it is what the Governor has explained that some of these employees had just been hired and they didn't have the personal numbers.
So there.
So it's a requirement for a transaction to go through the IPPD. That person or officer must have that personal number.
I'm asking this, yeah?
Yes.
Is it all the staff? Because then you should have said some staff outside IPPD.
It is all the staff except if it's casuals for 2 weeks who will not be
Asking this,
reviewed.
yeah?
Yes, please.
Let me read your query. Review of the payroll records during the year under review reveal that management process and pay salaries to staff outside IPPD payroll system, which management acknowledges due to delay in. So is it all of them or some?
Oh, sorry, I now get your question, Chair.
Yes.
Yes, not all, only the ones,
It is some.
is some, yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
HR manager?
Chair,
Yes.
with your permission, before the HR manager, so that you understand my answer, why we answered like that. In the recommendations, and I'm reading recommendation 2 of the Senate, the county governor should ensure that casual workers are engaged in line with the relevant laws and the approved staff establishment, and provide a status update to the Auditor General within 60 days of adoption of this report. So that you understand what I was answering.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So HR?
Chair, it is true that what the auditor said, that we had some of the employees paid outside the IPPD database, and perennially we've had those delays from the DPSM in processing the payroll numbers for the county staff, and the reason as to why we've have to pay them outside IPPD is that some of them lasting even 5 months. And ideally, for an employee who has been working for more than 5 months without a pay, sometimes it can really be stressful. I will also comment on an issue of reactivation of employees who have also worked in government before. Some of those reactivation really take time. Some of them even a whole year, especially officers working within the Ministry of Health. So you've had problems with reactivation because once you have a personal number, the same personal number can be reactivated when you are reappointed into government. Finally, the issue of casuals, that is the governor had commended, is that casuals are only hired for a daily wage and go up to a period of 90 days. Because if we go beyond that, we'll be subjected to have to hire them completely through our systems, and our physical responsibility cannot be able to support that. So the out of IPPD is some of the reactivations, the new contracts that we are processing new numbers through the DPSM, and also the casual employees that are paid a daily wage. Thank you.
Fine. So Auditor, did you get that explanation during the time of audit? Like correspondences between the county government and the DPM to show that really they are pursuing IPPD numbers. Like now if somebody is employed in June and then a letter has been written to DPM on that employee to get IPPD number, so that if it is after 5 months they've not received, you can check very easily to confirm what he's saying.
Yes, we did, and Chair, they indeed had engaged the State Department for Public Service on that.
So there's that effort was demonstrated.
Yes.
So then the only thing that would remain, unless Senator Cherargei wants to say something,
Yes, I wanted
is
to
that
say
the Auditor
something.
General to keep it in view.
Yeah, what I can say in our recommendations, Governor, you still insist in your response that you still pay because of salaries, don't miss salaries, which is humanly good. But how many casuals do you have how many staff are on contract and how many are acting capacity. Number two, how much, since you have human resource that you have, what is the total staff establishment of Lamu County and how much is being taken up by casual per month? I think those are overhead numbers. Because, and then there was a recommendation that you write to the Ministry of Ministry CS for Public Service Youth. Do you have any evidence that you have tried to engage them to get Chair to get on the personal numbers? Is there any evidence to that effect?
Actually, Honorable Senator, through the chair, my human resource manager has clearly stated that we have written. Actually, in your recommendations, on the Senate recommendations,
Yes.
they say the Senate notes that the process of issuance of personal file numbers is inefficient in counties and therefore directs the national government, State Department of Public Service, in conjunction with the Council of Governors, to prescribe and design an efficient human resource management system to be used by counties. That's the recommendation of the Senate. So the problem is getting these personnel numbers.
But that is not my question, Governor. My question is, have you engaged, because through the chair, we have had other counties, have you written for to get those personal numbers?
We have written.
Is it part of your responses?
No, yeah, we did not put that.
Yeah, so that we can see you're acting on our recommendation. In as much as you know, Council of Governors is not anchored in law. So in as much as we are saying you push through COG, which we hope you will anchor in law, but also you must demonstrate that you have written. My final question on the casual employees and on contract and acting, plus the amount that they consume per month. You have your human resource here and county secretary who is sitting behind you.
Chair, the total number of employees that we have in Lamu County is 2,089. This comprises of 1,088 who are on permanent basis. We have contractual employees 437 and casuals 564. And according to your question, Chair, is that these casuals are consuming around 9 million Kenya shillings per month. Thank you.
So contract and casual through the chair is 437 and 564. Governor, don't you, these are half, it is 50% because 1088 are on permanent, the rest here are on either contract or casual. What is your strategy to transfer through the chair to PNP?
It's not easy because the moment you absorb casuals into permanent, already my salaries are consuming a big portion.
Then
as much as we want, I just simply cannot afford to absorb them into permanent and pensionable.
Through the chair, but Governor, you are risking violating the labor laws.
We employ them 3 months and let them go and get others.
Since you assume office, are there any you have transited to PNP?
Try to avoid that because already I am at 39%, while the law requires me to be at 35%.
But how can you treat the symptom but not treat the disease?
I don't understand what you're saying.
Chair, because if you look, the employees are 2,000, 1,000 is on either casual or contract, 1,000 is on permanent. If I would be fair to you, if 200 were maybe on contract or casual, it would be fair. But this is a half of your working population are either on contract or casual. You know, your working workers.
You know, Chair, you don't know the geography of Lamu. I have many islands.
No, we are.
No, I'm just explaining. You want me to explain why
we are not
I have so many casuals?
Governor.
Let the governor just.
I take that, Chair. I take that with
let us
tremendous respect.
speak in turns. Ask your question, Senator.
Yes, but
Yes,
you
sir,
should
yes.
also stop casting us, because yesterday we were discussing about Taita. There is nowhere you told us, since you don't know Taita, we can't question you.
So ask the question.
Yeah, my question was very simple, and I just, Governor, be precise. You have 2,000 plus employees. 1,000 are on PNP. 1,000 are either casual or contract. This is 50% of your workforce. I'm asking the question to the fairness of the people of Lamu who are either on casual or on contract with the hope of being PNP. I'm asking, what is the strategy you have put in place? Simple.
Thank you, Governor.
Chair, I wanted,
You know the strategy.
Let's just have the Governor answer.
there is something tied to this casual. I just wanted to,
Okay. So
yeah, we had made a recommendation that within 60 days, you have to ensure that the workers that are engaged with the relevant laws being applied, together with having an approved establishment, and you share the status on the update with the Auditor General within 60 days. I just wanted to confirm, Chair, whether that has been done with the auditors. Now that I've listened to, who is the guy in red? If I had listened to you earlier, we should not have put you in the 11 counties that are disadvantaged, because your staff is just 2,000. You should, next time we'll be very careful. Yes. Your staff is just 2,000, whereas those other counties are at 4,000 staff, and your population at 148,000. You must have been very lucky to be among the 11. So I wanted to know whether this has been complied, and whether the auditor is in the picture.
Governor?
Yes, we did comply. And even in the annexures, we have attached.
Appendix number 6.
Appendix 6.
Appendix 6. Page number 113 from 113. The big booklet. We are there.
It's casual, some of them.
First page, self-establishment. Then we attach
I can see some letters there. I don't know why they are there.
Members are worried at our pace. We were too slow, and
Okay.
there are many paragraphs to look at. Is it possible we leave it to the auditor and the governor to? There may be the governor, the one that would need to answer is that Senator Cherargei is worried that that ratio of PNP employees and the casuals is too high. What would you say as is a rationale or justification?
Chair, we are doing it slowly. You know, I cannot absorb them at a go. We have a policy, as and when we are able. We convert the terms.
What do they do? If you require them, for example, the ICD teachers, you'd require them for a lifetime. So if you put them as casuals,
ECD teachers are all permanent.
Which are these employees who are casuals?
You know, we have about 45 health facilities. So they're the cleaners and the helpers and the watchmen. In fact, my health department has the highest number of casuals. The other is the municipality. These are the cleaners and the people doing manual work.
When you're employing them, do you have the public approval from the County Public Service Board?
Yes, they are all employed through the Public Service Board.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, members, let's make some progress so that we don't dwell so much on this issue and we leave out other equally pertinent issues. Let's look very briefly, Auditor, at paragraph 1.4, non-compliance with law on mandatory retirement age.
Thank you, Chair. Allow me then to just read them briefly wrote to you.
There?
Okay. Review of the integrated payroll and personnel database for June 2024, Payroll revealed that the county had 4 officers who had attained the mandatory retirement age of 60 years but were still in service as at 30th June 2024. Chair, I've read the brief which we did.
Okay, so Governor, why do you retain people who are over 60 years of age?
Thank you, Chair. Could I get my county secretary, Ambassador
Yes,
Lebas, to respond to that?
Yes, yes, please.
Thank you, Chair. The figure here reads 4, but currently it should read 3 because one has already exited since we never renewed his contract. So now we are talking of 3 people who are very essential because what we call rare skills. One was a former chairman of Lamu County Council who is very much engaged in cases of reconciliation between various communities living in Lamu County. With his wide experience, he has managed to resolve issues surrounding some communities who had conflicts either on land or other issues. The second one is somebody who was a former curator of one of the museums in Kenya with wide experience and has rare skills of historical knowledge of Lamu County. He is a very useful asset and we normally use him also for resource mobilization. The third one is a retired teacher who was also formerly a CEC during the first term of the devolved government, and using his experience, he is set up and is responsible for the liquor licensing board, which was never there in Lamu County before. And this is a new on-source revenue for the county government. Thank you, Chair.
Legal counsel, where do we get that law on retirement age? Do you have a law or is just this policy on by county government of Lamu? And does it have a caveat? Yes?
With indulgence, let me just look through Kenya law. Let me look through Kenya law, specifically the Public Service Act, to ascertain if there is any regulation on it. With indulgence, of course.
So, Auditor, do you have that answer?
Thank you,
Apart from this manual,
oh, no.
do you have a law that prohibits county governments to employ people above 60 years? You relied on this manual. Lamu, does this manual have a caveat that you can employ people with special skills to work up to above 60 years? But what I know, and we have a lawyer here, the law does not allow employment above 60 years.
In fact, the Chair, I don't know, because the CS Aisha Jumwa, even through Fellows Koske, has issued a mandatory communication and circular. I know Ministry of Treasury are aware that 60 years and above is not allowed, and 65 for the people living with this. And that circular has been issued by Public Service Commission. And therefore, Chair, I think this issue of above 60 years, you should just pronounce punishment. Because even in national government, even people with rare ability or rare unique experience, they are being retired mandatory, Bwana Governor. That is why I was worried. You now know, just let me conclude so that you respond. That is why these people should retire, so that I know you are trying to say they have unique abilities, unique skills, mobilization skills for resource or whatever. That is why now these people should retire to give room for the other 1,000, around 1,000 who had to get PNP in this.
Through the chair.
You are saying that these people have unique skills. But this person who was a teacher and a CEC, are there any skills there? Governor, yes.
Chair, actually the circular also provides for like exemptions that if somebody has these rare skills. For Lamu, it is important. And Chair, there are only 3 out of a workforce of 2,000 plus.
No, Chair, on a point of order, you cannot justify any wrong, even if it is one. It is like you saying when one person is killed, we still have many people alive, yet it is illegal.
Chair,
we are
relying on the uniqueness of these 3 individuals.
But Chair, you are a teacher by profession, unless there is something unique about the teacher.
I think Governor did.
Chair, in Lamu we have a lot of conflicts between herders and farmers, and honestly, one of these people, he works tirelessly to ensure that there is amity and peace.
But you know, Governor, you're a lawyer. If you want a change of the law, you can approach us and we
change
the law. Otherwise, the law is the law. When we start breaking it at our convenience, it doesn't look very neat. Because everybody would say, okay, the law says this, but in my own view, this is the better part. Okay, there are so many laws that are here in Parliament or in Kenya that are defective, and you look at them in terms of amending the laws. So if you think it's not working well, let's amend it, but let's not breach it because you think that it is not serving us well. And my personal feeling as Senator is saying, there are 1,000 casualties here who are young and they want to go into the gainful employment. What about them?
And Chair, in addition, the Public Service Commission circular, what you have alluded to, is very clear, because I know the Public Service Act is very clear. So, Governor, you know, you don't convince us that they have unique abilities, even if it is about for peace resolution conflicts. Anybody can do it. There are many young people who have done degrees in peace and security studies that even come from Lamu. You know, now you are giving us problems with even Gen Z, because if they hear your conversation through the Vice Chair, who is also the Deputy Party Leader of ODM, the biggest problem we have with the young people is they don't access opportunities. And you are here telling us in Lamu, you are still retaining people above 60. Yet there are many young people who have gone to school, yet they don't have opportunities.
Through the Chair, the majority of my employees are the young people.
I understand, Governor, but no, these are 3 job opportunities.
Correct.
For the young people. And so, if we let it go, what is the intention to, you want to retain them up to how many years?
When their current contracts expire, we shall
or when they
them.
go, or when their maker calls them.
Malcolm, let's see what the law says.
Or when I leave office.
Malcolm, let's see.
As per Regulation 70 of the Public Service Regulations, it states that subject to the Constitution, Section 80 of the Act, and any other relevant written law or a specific government policy, the mandatory retirement age in the public service shall be A, 60 years, B, 65 years for persons with disability, and C, any such age as may be determined by the Commission for lecturers and research scientists serving in public universities, research institutions, or equivalent institutions as determined by Commission in consultation with such universities, research institutions, or equivalent institutions.
What will you say about Lamu County and the employment of these three?
They are not defined in the law.
It would appear that any person being retained over 60 years would be a breach of the law unless they are persons with disabilities.
Central level.
Chair, I wanted to ask whether Lamu County has a public service policy in accordance to what we've just heard from that regulation. Do you have a county civil service policy or public service policy?
Yes, we do.
What does it say about that age of 60 years?
And source director.
Actually, the query is about flouting the human resource policy that is in existence and procedures manual. Yeah, that's the query.
It has already flouted.
There is already flouted.
Chair, so that we make use of the time and efficiency, I think we just make a ruling that there was a breach of the law. The governor should take necessary steps and release those individuals, and possibility of recovering any salary, emoluments or any allowances. If they are not recovered, Chair, let me just conclude so that you rule.
I'm actually telling you it is right. It's 3.5 million.
Yeah, 3.5 million be recovered with a possibility of even prosecution of the officers concerned. And if that money is not recovered, then it should be recovered from the governor himself, because that is affront to the law. And I think we rule that, Chair, so that we make progress. Thank you.
Because the HR has the mic, let's just see if you can mitigate.
Yes, Chair, I was to confirm whether Lamu County has a human resource manual. Yes, indeed we do. And ours is also in line with the Public Service Commission's regulations.
Governor, there is no reason of flouting that that regulation, and so would rule like this: go and remove these old men. If you need them, you can have them in the task forces, yes, in committees, you know, as your advisors, you know.
Or Council of Elders.
Council of Elders, to help you in arbitration and all those activities. But in employment, because you have the law, and the law has been breached, go and mitigate. We will still have our 60 days for you to mitigate. So Auditor can keep that in view. Otherwise, this audit query will not go. Let's look at number 2, irregular procurement of fuel, oil and lubricants.
Thank you, Chair. Let me read the statement of receipts and payments as disclosed in Note 4 reflects use of goods and services totaling to 635 million, included in the payment totaling 81,594,900 in respect of fuel, oil and lubricants procured by use of quotation by the various departments. The payments were made to only 2 companies of the 39 pre-qualified suppliers under the category, contrary to Regulation 91, Sub-Regulation 5 of the Public Procurement and Assets and Disposal Regulations of 2020, which provides that an accounting officer shall ensure a fair and equitable rotation amongst the persons on the list under Section 57, 71, and 106 of the Act and the regulations. In addition, evidence that the departments have been registered as procuring entities and have a procurement function was not provided, contrary to Regulation 54 on the procuring entity registration. Which states that the National Treasury shall ensure that all procuring entities are registered into the e-procurement system and that they have their respective facilities to carry out different activities of initiating the procurement process, annual procurement plan preparation, procurement, document preparation, evaluation, provision, opinion, contract award, contract management, internal procurement process, workflow management, tracking payments, deliverables, and other processes through the available features and modules of the e-system. In the circumstances, management was in breach of the law. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, we had some recommendations.
Right.
What do you have to say about those?
Chair, my procurement director was supposed to be here. We came with him, but he is diabetic, and he actually got sick while he was seated out here. He had prepared a response to that, and if you allow me to read it on his behalf.
Yes.
I thank you for the opportunity to respond to the audit concerns raised by the Auditor General regarding the procurement of fuel, oil, and lubricants amounting to 81,594,900 through quotation method, and the observation that only two suppliers.
Point of order. Governor, where are you reading from? We don't have.
Yes, let's see where you're reading.
Yes.
Governor.
It's not in that document. It is not in that document. It is not in that document.
It's not in this document.
Then table it.
So if you table it, make sure that we have.
Yes, I will table it.
Can you kindly through the chair table first, so that as you read we are on the same
Through the
page.
chair, I'm tabling this document.
Make it a copy to the chair. You have only one copy.
You know, he was to answer this verbally, but since.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You can admit it, you can admit it.
Yeah.
It is important to note that Lamu County presents unique logistical and geographical challenges owing to its vast archipelago with multiple islands. We actually have 65 islands. Limited accessibility of certain regions via road with dependence on marine and air transport. Security-sensitive zones requiring vetted and trusted suppliers. This reality often affects the pool of suppliers who can realistically and reliably deliver essential commodities such as fuel, oil, and lubricants across the county. The Auditor General's observations. The auditor noted that procurement was conducted through quotations instead of framework contracts or open competitive methods. 2, only 2 firms received the entire volume of procurement despite the existence of 39 pre-qualified suppliers. And thirdly, there was no formal request for exemption as required under Section 114A of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act 2015. County's position and clarification. As he is the incoming head supply chain. Right.
Hi, this document is too long. We are at 10 minutes to 5.
Let me just
explain. If you can explain or give your officer, CCCO to explain. Yeah? Because even as the procurement officer is doing the procurement, he still works under the CEC. So just explain.
Okay. What we are saying is that the use of request for quotation is allowed. Secondly, though there were 39 suppliers who were pre-qualified, the actual number with active licenses, ERC, KRA, KEBS, capacity to deliver, fuel storage and dispensing infrastructure, valid compliance documents at the time of award was significantly limited. So the measures we have undertaken, we are immediately reviewing all procurement files relating to fuel supply to validate vendor participation and contract. We have also developed a framework agreement or call contracts with multiple capable suppliers. We are also initiating suppliers' performance evaluation to regularly assess and update the pre-qualified list. And also we have prepared a formal request for future exemptions in accordance with section 114A.
You know, you only gave 2 companies out of 39. Now with what you have read, are we likely to have more vendors supplying the county with fuel and lubricants?
Actually, Chairman, beginning 1st July, the system is changing. We have to again get people to tender and to be registered on the new platform. So that will cease, and we will have a new list of suppliers.
Not a new list of suppliers, involving many, distributing the money to many people. Are we likely to have that, other than just 2?
Again, and Senator Gerard Gay, please forgive me, it's the geography of Lamu. We have to have somebody on various islands having capability to supply us with fuel when we need that.
And we are saying there is Pegatroni, there is Lamu Island, there is Faza, all those. We are only using 2.
Because they're the ones who have facilities and the network over the whole county.
They can
and across the country. We've come to Nairobi, our vehicles need fuel, so these 2 are able to arrange fuel for us.
Auditor, do you make sense of what the governor is saying?
Yes, Chair. Yes, because of that uniqueness.
Okay, so when you're doing the audit,
yes,
in the management letter, draft report, did he give that explanation?
Unfortunately, no. And that's why
I need to give that explanation, because we would not be discussing it here. It has been escalated to this level because that explanation that you've given, which looks plausible, in as far as the audit is concerned, was not given.
Chair, let me add, Chair, so that you can answer both. One, Governor, I don't believe what you are saying. Some of us have been in Lamu, and when I'm in Lamu, you don't need to know. We have interest in Lamu. Number 2, any fair trade practices, you should use open tender. For example, Chair, even this road that comes, the famous road from Wajir to Isiolo, is crossing most of the areas that are insecure. We have this road that was to go to Lapset, the one we were arguing about, the tarmac. It goes through a region that is considered secure. And when you look even at restricted tender, there are thresholds that you must achieve. So unless you are telling us Lamu is so unique that people doing business in Lamu should only operate on specially permitted, because one, Chair, if you look at the recommendation, you went and wrote a letter to the ministry, the PS National Treasury, I believe is Chris Kipto, on 11 April 2025. You have attached as part of your annexures. You have not attached the response, which should have been your refuge, the response from PS or National Treasury. You have not attached here. This letter was written by Ambassador Ali Abbas, who is the County Secretary of Lamu. This issue, and I would want to know EACC, because in our recommendations, Chair, we recommended, how far is the investigation on this 81.5 million in procurement of fuel, oil and lubricants by the various departments? Because I hear your argument that now from July 1st the government is moving to e-procurement. Then it means you should be telling us that you did advertise the tender, you did pre-qualification of companies, but XYZ companies were pre-qualified and therefore you gave them opportunity to serve your fuel. So my question, Governor, don't you think you are suppressing the businessmen and women, not only from Lamu but abroad Kenya, who would want to use open tendering to supply this product to your county, number 1. And number 2, what was the response from the National Treasury? Number 3, through the Chair to EACC on this issue of 81.5 million, how far have you picked this matter for investigation? Because I don't think the OAG has a problem. In fact, the Chair, under the Public Procurement and Disposal Act and under PMF Act, it is always safer, Governor, to use open tender to reduce some of these being followed around. And you know you are a good man. You are a deputy party leader of our ruling party. We don't want you, when you have gone to retire, build your legacy, somebody to be following you over only fuel. And Chair, you saw what happened in Samburu over former governor. He did the same thing. Governor Moses Lenon Kulal. He said, you know, Samburu is insecure, they use specially permitted. That guy is still in court up to today. So, Governor, can you give us a more plausible, let me use the words of the esteemed chair, plausible explanation on why we should let you off the hook, and also EACC to say something on the investigation? I thank you, Chair.
Governor?
Chair, I hear what the Senator said. But again, he says he comes to Lamu. Next time he comes, I need to take him around so that he can see on the issue.
Say when you go, please make sure that you meet the governor. Because like where you go,
where he goes, he goes the safe place.
Yes, you don't go to the.
Chair, it is dangerous because I'm on a private.
Chair, even if you ask the auditors, they wanted to go and see a certain project. The sea was so rough, they couldn't dare go there. And some of us, we have to travel all the way to the border of Somalia. And when you go there with vehicles, and we don't go with our vehicles because there is no accessibility. Senator, you mentioned some of these places where people still travel. In Lamu, there's a whole region that we cannot access.
But just tell me in terms of procurement.
Yeah, in terms of procurement,
when
all I'm trying to justify that these people are able to supply us with fuel in all these areas. Yes. And that's the only criteria that made us zoom on
Chair,
this.
Did you invite companies for pre-qualification?
Yes, we did.
Actually 39
qualified.
Yeah.
Was this part of the framework, contract framework?
No, it was not.
Yes. Flooding of the law.
So this 39,
maybe
you qualified them because they are able to supply.
Through the chair.
Yes.
Just want to make a small clarification. You see, it's only the fuel is not only supplied on land. There are areas where you have to have a petrol station at sea.
We are that much, Mbana, we understand. But now only 2 companies
among the 39
all this money out of the 39, and we're imagining then some companies would have supplied fuel at Mpeketoni or within the Far Island, you know. Or is it this only 2?
We are putting this into consideration those who can supply fuel when we are at Kiunga, because from Lamu to Kiunga is a very big distance.
So
when your fuel is off at Kiunga,
only pre-qualify companies to supply oil and lubricants, 39 of them. The auditor is saying, why don't you spread so that the specialized ones who have capacity to even supply in the sea, maybe these 2 can get, but also let the others get something. So that you distribute the wealth, so that this wealth don't become wealthier at the expense of growing the young ones, the small ones. Yes, that's what I think that is the thrust of the audit query, isn't it?
Yes, Chair.
OAG, did you see through the chair the contract framework? Did they capture?
Through the chair, I think this was through quotations, and it was awarded. It's now they want to do.
So what you are saying, it's like insider trading, where I'm giving you quotation, then you supply as the buyer. It's called insider trading. I think you are trying, you know, OAG want to be nice, but I think that is what is happening, Patrick, through the chair, where I'm giving you the quotation to supply me. Maybe chair, so that we move efficiently. Can the EACC tell us, because it was part of our recommendation on this 81.6 million?
Yes, Chair. This matter, alongside those that were recommended in the last report of the Senate, was captured by EACC. It's at preliminary stages as being a recent allocation, but yes, it was captured by EACC.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so Auditor, maybe briefly, what do we require so that we can mitigate on this query? And of course, it has some other limbs,
Yeah.
like evidence that the departments have been registered as procuring entities and have a procurement function. It was not provided. That evidence, has it since been provided?
Thank you, Chair. We've not seen.
You've not seen it.
Yeah.
Okay. Can we provide that?
Chair, all this is procured by the procurement department of the county and supplied to the various departments. It's not that every department procures. The procurement is done centrally, and the county government is a procuring entity.
Does that suffice, Auditor?
Yes, it will suffice if it is provided.
Okay, so, Patricia?
Yes, Chair. If I'm hearing correctly, they are talking about a request for quotation. So if it was an RFQ process, then it has guidelines along according to the procurement laws, which means that there should be documentation showing how they arrived at a particular bidder. So maybe if this could be provided to the auditor, it could bring clarity to why specific bidders were given these works.
Was it RFQ?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And so it was done competitively?
Yes, it was.
So after pre-qualifying the 39, you sent for quotations. Is there evidence that these two are the lowest? Or they are the ones who had capacity?
They are the
ones who had capacity, not necessarily the lowest. Auditor?
But the law is very clear through the chair on PMF that you take the lowest.
And capacity.
And capacity issues, the issue of being the lowest bidder, and only other factors. So that's what the PMF Act is saying, and Public Procurement Disposal Act.
Chairman, look, so that we can have more Auditor, so that we can have a feel of more of these issues. Look at it, just engage the county and the law, so that we see then how we can, whatever documentation we'll get, whatever mitigation we'll get, before we write our report, which we'll do very soon, so that we can get a test of other, we can test other queries and the evidence they've given. We'll keep it in view, yes?
Governor, do you have your county attorney here?
Not yet.
So I'm saying, do you have your county attorney here?
I have my director legal service.
Oh, he's here. Who?
She.
Oh, she's here.
Yes.
When you form, maybe chair out of just because we are building capacity. Whenever you sit in procurement committees and other committees of procurement, do you seek the Director of Legal Services opinion on some of these decisions? Because as you are aware, even whenever ministry at the national level, they only seek the advice from Solicitor General or the Attorney General.
I personally do not sit in any procurement.
I know, but I'm saying your county secretary is there, your CC finance, and this gentleman who has been around for the longest time possible. My question is, does in your decision, I don't know whether head of procurement is here, you say he's sick. So CC, in some of these contract awarding committees, do you seek the legal guidance and counsel from your Director of Legal Services?
We do frequently. Whenever there's need, we involve her.
So if such error happens, you sometimes attribute to her?
You cannot
or
attribute
do you
to
normally
her.
take her advice or you ignore?
Whenever necessary, we seek her advice, and she's advising us.
And do you take the advice?
We take advice from her.
But from the conversation, looks like you don't take into consideration. And you can see the problems EACC will be looking for you if you are not careful. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. So keep it in view. We will revisit it when we are writing our reports. Let us look at one project. We have 265 million that is going for projects, construction and civil works. Auditor, I want us to have a feel of this. Maybe just get who is constructing the governor's residence, Governor? It's the county.
Yes.
It's the county. Let's have a feel of that, Auditor. 9.3 paragraph.
Thank you, Chair. Delay in the construction of the governor's residence. Included in this amount are payments totaling to Kenya shillings 82,741,590 in respect to construction of buildings, out of which Kenya shillings 13,499,921 was paid to a construction company in respect to construction of the governor's residence. As previously reported, the project file revealed that the memorandum of understanding between the county government of Lamu and the national government had been signed on 31st March 2021, allocating 2 acres of land for the construction of the residence, and the contract for the construction of the residence was signed on 16 February 2023 between the county government and the contractor at a contract sum of 44 million, which with a completion period of 12 months. Further, the contract completion period was extended to 1st March 2024. Audit inspection of the project done on 7th October 2024 revealed that the project is still not complete. Delay in project implementation may be an indication of ineffectiveness in management of public resources, and prolonged completion of the project may lead to unnecessary additional costs due to inflation. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, Governor.
Thank you, Chair. Our response is that the county the project is ongoing and funds have been allocated to complete the project. Chair, there has been a delay, and this is the problem. This was an open tender. A company from Mombasa bidded for it, won, and then midway, after seeing the logistics of Lamu, and they say now they are unable to complete. So, as we speak, the contract is being terminated, and we are going to appoint a new contractor to complete the works. So far, about 60% of the work has been completed.
When was the contract terminated?
And it's on mutual agreement, because the contractor has just informed us that he is not in a position to complete the project.
Okay, Auditor.
Thank
How
you.
do you deal with this?
Thank you, Chair. The project is still not complete, and what from the audit perspective we are not sure is if the new contractor is going to be engaged, will it vary the initial contract sum of 44 million? So there are those gray areas, Chair.
Fair enough, Auditor.
Thank you.
Governor, how would you make sure that we don't have variations of tender due to loss of time?
We have our experts, the architects and the quantity surveyors, and we'll try to make sure that we build within the specified limit.
How would you ensure that? Because the contract was given in March 2021.
No.
Is that also?
That is not correct.
Just a minute.
It's 2023.
For the MOU.
Actually, December 2023.
Okay, yes. It was 16th February 2023. I was looking at some agreement that was signed between the national government and county government in 31st March 2021. Okay, so what measures are you putting in place to make sure that we just build within the contract sum? Because the worry of the auditor is that because we're taking too long and we're delaying, then there could be additional costs due to inflation. What are you doing in terms of budgeting and everything?
Chair, so far we have limited the budget to the original amount of 44 million.
Yes.
And we believe that substantially we should be able to complete the project.
How much have we budgeted for in the 2025-2026 financial year? Because then that would be an assurance that we are catering for the budget of this residence.
We have budgeted 20 million.
20 million?
Yes.
Can you show that in our budget? Do you have one next year? Or if you don't have it, can you provide it?
We have it.
Appendix 10.
Okay, Appendix 10.
Appendix 10.
Senator Cherargei, as I look at Appendix 10.
My Governor, in your self-reporting, you indicated that the road was damaged towards that place. There is a letter you wrote on 7 August 2024. You are inquiring, delay in completing especially had been already extended. So when you tell us that the contract is mutually terminated, what do you mean? Because I've looked at Appendix 10.
Appendix
10, I've looked at it, it's just budget. So, Governor, where is the evidence to show that you are either in negotiation or the contract has been terminated? Because you have just given us a budget, and even in your answer, I don't know whether you are reading from you have said in your answer here that on 7th August 2024, you wrote a letter to ask the status and it had already been extended, and you ended there. So where is the evidence of you negotiating, mutually terminating the contract? Is there any evidence?
Governor?
Chair, if I'm given 3 days, I'll send that evidence. Because
But
even the contractor...
Governor, point of order through the chair, you are arrogating your powers of the chair. Is the chair to determine the...
No, I'm requesting the chair to allow me to bring that evidence since you want to see it.
But Governor, you took an oath through the chair. Sindio, you took an oath. I'm just using your words. You have told us that it has been mutually terminated, and you know Cap 8 on evidence law.
I've said I have not attached that evidence. Give me time, I will bring it now.
So we struck off what you told us.
No, you don't struck it off. It's part of the answer. You have requested for more information, so I say give me time, I'll bring that information.
Calm down, let me read your report. Chair, allow me, please.
Yes, please.
You have said, despite these challenges, management reached out to the contractor on 7 August 2044 through a letter reference CGL/PSMA/PW150/volume 16 to inquire about delay in the governor's residence, especially since the contract had already been extended. There is nowhere in your answer that you are saying the contract had been mutually terminated, and that is my only concern, Governor. Because my worry, if it is not mutually terminated, they might tell you we have agreed and then move to court and sue you.
Fair enough.
And it is an omission on our part, but I assure you,
so which
it has
answer
been
should
mutually agreed to terminate.
Which answer should we take? This one on this one, or what you are requesting the chair to bring?
We will also add on to that.
But we are saying here the contract has already been extended.
What is the current status, Governor? Has the contract been
Chair,
terminated?
that contract has been mutually terminated. Yes.
But in your
And
USA,
I'm saying it's an oversight on the part of the people who prepared this answer.
so we struck off this.
You can strike it off.
No, I cannot, Governor, calm down.
So just,
Senator, you are taking us around.
No, I'm not taking
No,
you
no,
around.
the point is-
So the
Yeah,
point is,
let me just-
through the chair, I'm using your response only.
This response was before the termination. You know, we appeared before the Senate some times back. That termination happened after, and we were responding to what you have.
So now you are requesting the chair to strike off so that you can bring the recent update on the progress.
Honorable Chair. So let me see, you know what is happening? There was self-reporting,
Yes,
and then they're supposed to do some implementation, to implement some recommendations.
correct.
Now, what you're saying is that one of the recommendations we implemented, one of the things that we did, was to terminate the contract mutually, which you did after you gave these responses, isn't it?
Yes.
That's what I'm
Avoid
following.
court cases.
Yes.
To be mutual.
Yeah. So if it
Then
was
they should
mutual,
provide through the chair the evidence of that
to-
mutual termination.
I'll add you more 4 more days, 7 days to the auditor. Evidence of that mutual cancellation, isn't it?
And the
Okay.
chair in our recommendation was to be verified in audit circle through the chair. Patrick, how far is the audit circle of 2024, 2025? Because this
They're
was-
almost beginning, isn't it?
Chairman, some directories have already started the in-year audits, but maybe the director, because he's here, he can talk about Lamu.
Okay.
Yes, Director.
Thank you, Chair. We request to do the verification and also that mutual agreement contract once they submit. We didn't look at all the projects.
How
because of
long
the
will you
limit.
take through the chair in case the county gives you tomorrow?
What?
How long will you take, because I will take through the chair to verify that termination?
No, I think we have given them 7 days.
Okay,
But also we're saying keep it in view in the upcoming audit.
okay.
Yes.
Then that is it. Governor, you should work hard for this governor's residence to be complete before you leave office. Don't you think so?
So I think that will give us a good.
Yeah?
It is jinxed. I'll build it for the next governor. I'm that magnanimous.
Let me try to go, auditor. Let's try to look at number 10.
Chair, maybe a quick one, just through you, on this Lamu County headquarters OAG, how is it? Is it used now, is it complete?
But no, this one has to do with the national government.
Oh,
They are not releasing funds.
so is there any engagement with the national government, Governor?
Not only with the national government, with the Senate to push for us. We
So
have
how far
seen
is the
that
government?
monies have been put in this year's budget.
Or the
I'm
4-6?
hoping that something will happen that
You
will
should
get the
thank
money.
these two gentlemen, because they come from small counties and they convince us to add you 4-6 million. So we hope it will assist you.
In fact,
And we-
4.6 billion by 4-6
no,
to each to 11.
it will be slightly more on this.
It's,
4.6.
yeah, because, yeah. Okay, Governor.
So auditor, let's look at these grounded vehicles and see how the county is treating that issue.
Thank you, Chair. I'm going to read, but I think, Chair, this was not part of the committee's
Okay.
recommendation. But
So, okay, then that's okay.
yes,
It was resolved.
it is part of the assets register issue which we are going to verify.
There's a substantive issue on assets.
Yes,
So can we leave that one, then we go to 11?
kindly.
Okay. 5:30. Failure to update fixed asset register.
Thank you, Chair. Annex 6 to the financial statements on summary of non-current assets register reflects a balance of Kenya shillings 2,653,724,595, which includes additions during the year of Kenya shillings 221,330,692. However, the statement of receipts and payments reflects payments in respect of acquisition of assets totaling to Kenya shillings 63,852,668, resulting to an explained variance of Kenya shillings 442,521,976. In addition, a review of the assets register revealed and explained variances between assets balances and corresponding disclosures in the summary as indicated below. We've tabulated the variances, Chair. Further review of the county assets register revealed that the county owns 20 parcels of land which county has not obtained the ownership, whose estimated value has not been provided contrary to Regulation 136 of the PFM County Government's Regulation of 2015, which provided that the accounting officer shall be responsible for maintaining a register of assets under his or her control or possession as prescribed by the relevant laws. The register of land and buildings shall record each parcel of land and each building and the terms on which it is held, with reference to the conveyance and trace area, dates of acquisition, disposal, or major change in use, capital expenditure, leasehold terms, maintenance contracts, and other pertinent management details. In the circumstances, management was in breach of the law. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, what is your response to that?
Thank you, Chair. In line with circulars issued by the National Treasury and National Cabinet for the adoption and transition to the accrual accounting basis for public entities, and liability management policy and procedure manual for Lamu. Secondly, we have appointed the Asset and Liability Management Committee to spearhead the identification, valuation, and updating of assets and liabilities in the county. Thirdly, we have collected data and updated the following categories of assets for the county for their 2013 to date: building registers for our ECDs, dispensaries, public toilets, ward administrators' offices, social halls, markets, etc. For roads, for motor vehicle and transport register, this includes motor vehicles, motorcycles, boats, and tractors. Other infrastructures such as our water desalination plants, water pipelines, jabias, fencing, and perimeter walls. All these issues have been captured in the asset register. Appendix 12 is a letter for approval of asset and liability management policy, and minutes a summary status report of the asset register.
Audit, I'm imagining that you have looked at Appendix 12. That is letter of approval, okay. And the asset register, are they there now?
Thank you, Chair. They brought an assets register for us to verify, but the time was short. We've not very
million, but the asset register is only capturing 18.
Financial statement which is presented in the IFMI system. Asset register, we are now updating the asset register to comply with the accrual presentation. That's why there is a difference on financial statement and the asset register. On the issue of building and structures, their issue like roads maintenance, which is part of building and structures, which they are not part of asset routine maintenance, mostly totaling to 7,775 million for the 10 years.
Read that.
Accumulatively.
Read that figure properly.
775 million accumulatively for the 10 years. And on the issue of transport equipment, we also have routine maintenance for the transport equipment, repair of motor vehicles, which does not form part of asset. On the biological asset, these are purchase of seeds, which is supplied to the MATIANG'I for free. In this cash-based template financial statement, we disclose it as part of asset, which it is not asset. These are distribution of seeds and vaccination to MATIANG'I. Thank you.
No, I'm not an expert there. Let me go to my consultants. How does that sit with you? That explanation?
It's still, sorry Chair to say, but it is still wanting, because number one, the financial statements, the annexure is just a disclosure. So actually, if there was an issue with the IFMIS, they should have done some reconciliation so that the assets register and the annexure reflect the same thing. Now, the issue of biological assets which are seeds and are being distributed, then it means that probably they even don't have ownership of such, and they should not be disclosed in the financial
In fact, I
statements.
was saying now there's something I have learned
Yeah.
over the years which I needed to unlearn and then learn something new. When you say that seeds are biological assets, I say, hey, there's something that I know differently. And so I need to unlearn so that I can relearn. But there's nothing to unlearn. Chief Officer, you are saying seeds are assets.
As per the template in the IFMES, configured in the IFMES, they form part of asset.
So how do you own them? Because
That's
assets
why,
must be owned.
that's why they are not put as part of asset register. Yes, they are in the financial statement as a disclosure, since they have been disclosed in the IFMES system as part of asset, but not part of asset register. That is the difference.
Auditor, you know, you're just my rescue. If I ask these other people here, they are lawyers. I'm a teacher, I can't help. So, interesting. Is what she's saying correct?
Chairman, I think for
James,
biological
Patrick.
assets, thank you, Chair. That for biological assets, the figure of 173 million, in the financial statement, the treatment ought to have been different. If it's true these seeds were distributed, they ought to have been expensed and not treated as expense. Okay? So, yes, they would not have been recorded in the assets register because they have been expensed. Then they should not have been appeared in the financial statement as assets as it were. They should have been expensed.
Okay.
Chair, I also want to
Yes,
raise
please, yeah.
the issue and ask how did they budget for these biological assets? Did they budget them as assets or disposables, usables? If they didn't, and they didn't so, they should have put a footnote to explain the same. That would help the auditor to note that it was an asset that was disposed. That's one thing. Then again, when it comes to loans, how do they describe the maintenance of loans? Do they capitalize it? If they don't, then they should count it as goods and services or fuels. They put them in that item. So those are some of the things that will make them to explain their assets and the goods according to the template. Templates, it's there to guide you on what to do. But your budgeting will still determine where you take the assets and where you take the goods.
I don't know if you're making progress. Senator Cherargei, you want to say something?
Chairman, and finally, on the issue of accrual and cash basis, I think the accrual accounting will come into effect from the financial statements of 2024,
I think so.
2025.
I think so.
So it may not be applicable in this case.
Yeah, so Madam doesn't apply here, the accrual and cash basis.
So maybe the OAG with the Ministry of Treasury, I think they are aware that you can liaise with the county on how that one since we are moving. Yeah, I think that is the best advice we can give it now, Chair.
The register of land and buildings shall record each parcel of land and each building and the terms on which it is held, with reference to the conveyance, address, area, dates of acquisition, disposal, or major change in use, capital expenditure, leasehold terms, maintenance. Do you have that register now with you? Auditor. They are saying they gave you something.
You want to tell me, Governor, you have leases or certificate of titles for your ECD classes?
For very few.
Yeah, because I would have said you are the most efficient county you have.
No, for very few.
Yeah.
But most of our ECDs are embedded with the primary schools. But of late, I've managed to get a few titles for our ECDs.
20 parcels of land. Do you have ownership documents?
Let me ask the CC for lands to respond to that.
Through the chair,
Yes.
yeah, we also have few ownership of land document, but the work is in progress because we have started with Manda. Then in few months we are going to get others. So we are working on other documents, especially on the ownership of our asset. Thank you.
The same now is CCO. You said office equipment in the financial statements will close 27 million, but the asset register you left some out and only put 18 million in the asset register. How do you explain that?
We are in the process of updating the asset register. That's why we have shared the same with the auditors.
Okay, I think now even the...
Is the effort okay? Whatever has been shared, does it make us make any progress, or the situation is still not good?
Chair, before the director responds, please allow me to say that it looks okay, but this is an exercise, and I can see it's dated to commence from the 2nd of June to the 13th of June. I hope maybe today, because today is 19th, it's possible they could be finalizing and doing a report writing. But Chairman, remember from what we have done even in the previous committee, the issue of assets, and from the interrogations we have had from other clients, the issue of valuation. Because that would be the most important thing and the most key, because there will be no need of just recording assets in the asset register if you are not able to capture the values. Maybe the committee can propose to the county on how to approach the issue of valuation and borrow from those counties that have been able to navigate the issue of valuation.
Maybe the governor can respond a bit on the issue of valuation for the assets.
And confirm whether you will make use of government valuers, so that again you don't engage consultant, it becomes another unreasonable expenditure again.
Through the chair.
One of the audit goals in this year is on the payment to consultancy services. Yeah.
Through the chair, honorable senators, for the first time in Lamu since independence, we got a land valuer posted there in April this year. So you can imagine the challenges that we have. So we only have one valuer, and that will be for land. For the other assets, I don't know whether government has valuers with regard to valuation of other assets.
You're supposed to do valuation, and it's like you have not even started. Because if you had started imagining and even working towards doing valuation, you would be knowing where to get them from. Maybe the national government. I don't say you don't know if they are there, so it means you have not made any deliberate step towards doing that valuation.
We have sometimes on some properties that we were leasing to investors, we had to source valuers from Kilifi and Mombasa to come and do the valuation.
Through the chair, those are government valuers or private?
Yes, government valuers.
Yeah, because if you engage private for all these assets, you'll be milked dry.
I don't have that luxury. I'm very constrained for resources.
But still, even if they engage the public valuers from Kilifi, would they come there as public valuers? They would move into
transport and their
private valuers.
But they will not charge you professional fee.
No, no professional
fees. So that's fine.
Okay. If that can be done, that would be good. I think we don't need to move further than this. Some of us have been sitting from 9 a.m. up to now. The rest of the issues left in this audit report for the executive, we'll just adopt our recommendations and put further recommendations from whatever you've listed as a response to recommendations. For the receiver of revenue, we'll look also at the responses and what you've done in terms of implementing the committee's recommendations, and also would request the auditor to report on the progress of whatever methods and they are putting in place to make sure that also revenue goes up, so that we can leave it at that. This meeting stands adjourned. No, not yet. Sorry. You want to say something?
Maybe Governor.
Chairman.
Governor, oh sorry.
Before
senators come in,
yes.
because I can't speak after the senators have spoken.
Yes.
The paragraph on prior year matters. The client should expect that going forward, all the paragraphs which have not been resolved will be listed and in more detail, so that they don't say like auditor is now repeating paragraphs which have not been resolved. Those paragraphs would have to be documented and listed in subsequent audits. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Patrick, for that. We have agreed that in the next audit, we'll put all the prior matters, and they should be there very explicitly listed, so that we can look at them. So we'll not just list prior matters, they will appear on the certificate, so that we don't lose them.
Maybe, Chair, with your indulgence, I can
now
say...
that will be your closing remarks.
Thank you, Chair. With your indulgence, I think what I can say at this point in time, Governor, you should be grateful that you are among the 11 counties who ensured that you benefited from the fourth basis of formula, and Senator Okongo Mgeni and Senator Morumba were the leading lights of ensuring. So, as we push for resources, I know Senate looks nice, especially when we're adding money to counties, but I know when it comes to accountability, sometimes it becomes a problem. But we hope, as you finalize your term, as you build your legacy projects in Lamu County, we hope the money, the additional that our colleagues from 11 counties pushed is value for everybody. So I want to call upon you that addition, just build on your legacy project, so that you, as you exit your second term and final, it can be of great value. And we hope things will change on the ground and ensure that we give value to our things. Secondly, and before I wind up, is to call upon you to collaborate with the Office of the Auditor General. These are public office. Make sure you use exit entry management meetings, so that when we come here, we would have used less than 10 to 15 minutes, so that we don't need to take a lot. Finally, I know you are aware the National Assembly now, I don't know whether they have adjourned, they are debating on the division of revenue bill, the mediated version. And you have heard that they are supposed to conclude. They agreed with the Senate for 15 billion. But some of us will oppose that mediated version, because we had said counties should get 465 billion. Because we want counties to have enough resources, so that when we call you to account for, you account because you have enough resources to do projects. So despite that 415 billion had been agreed by the mediation committee of the Senate and the National Assembly, we still, and I still believe, it is not fair to counties that we have a national budget of 4.2 trillion Kenya shillings, yet counties are given only 415 billion. In fact, going into the future, counties should even get 50% of the national budget, so that we can see, because if you look at the fourth schedule of Congo Mugeni, most of the functions are devolved. So, Governor, when we are pushing for this, please, with your colleagues in COG, stand with us. The way you stood with us in road maintenance levy fund, and I'm happy the courts ruled that 11 billion should go to county, so that you can do more projects. We want to see most of these projects. And Governor, finally, the protectors of devolution is the Senate. Should you feel that there is something that the Senate will do to ensure devolution is protected, devolution is functional, devolution has value for the people in Mashinani, the Senate is your only partner. I can confirm to you, because I have been around like you for some time. Devolution does not have many good friends. Devolution daily is facing threats. And some of the threats are as high, as powerful as the National Assembly. And that is why they didn't want RLMF to go. they are even lying to the people. I know you have heard, and I know my colleagues know, that CDF is doing much more than what governors are doing, which is a fallacy. And the only reason is that there is corruption in counties. Yet National Assembly is not addressing corruption in national level. So I think take us as partners for the growth of devolution. So Chair, with indulgence and those many remarks, we wish you safe journey back to Lamu. And next time when I'm not on private visit, I will alert you so that you are aware I'm around. Thank you, Chair.
Yes, Chair, this is the first time I've interacted with the governor of the great county of Lamu. I'm impressed with his honesty, the way he responds to issues. You know, oftentimes when we encounter governors, it becomes like we are playing a ping pong game. So I'm happy that you are fairly honest. Now, I and the chair here, and with the support of Senator Cherage, fought very hard to give 12 counties some affirmative fund for development. My appeal to you is, please, don't convert that money to salaries. That was not our intention, or my intention. I'm the one who moved that motion. Try and use that money for development so that you make our work easier. Oftentimes, National Assembly go around and claim that people in counties don't see the work governors do. So why can't you be our good ambassadors? Use some of this money to do tarmac roads, some hospitals, so that people can enjoy devolution. We want people to migrate from Nairobi and stay in counties. Like people moved from New York and went to stay in California. Now the population of New York is going down. We want Nairobi's population to go down and people to migrate to counties, including Garissa, Marsabit, Mandera. So be our good ambassadors, and Lamu, of course. In fact, Lamu, you should fight for people to migrate. Your population is 148. Should be one constituency. So we should create an environment to attract more investors. But we really believe in devolution, and we want devolution to succeed. So be our good ambassadors as governors. Chair, that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor. Your closing remarks.
Thank you, Chair. First, Senator Mugeni and our Chair and the rest of the senators. On behalf of the 12 counties, we really appreciate the stand you took in ensuring that we get a bit more funding. Senator, you can imagine, Lamu, we were getting 3.4 billion. And my payroll, I am very conscious of that. I come from the private sector. So I really look at things. And as much as I'm told that, you know, you need to convert these people to permanent and pensionable, but you have to live within your means. And so I want to assure you that we will not let you down. The monies that the extra funding will get, already I'm thinking of legacy projects. I have a hospital in Mokoe, which is the county headquarters, and I plan about 100 million of the extra you've given me to put that into that. And let me also take this opportunity to invite you to Lamu, as the chair. Please come and see. I don't want to, I normally don't make noise, but I can tell you, if you walk into my level 4 hospital, King Fahd, right now we have people from Mombasa coming to do their operations in Lamu. We don't make noise, but things are changing. And those who think that devolution is a waste of time, that all governors we are banded, that we are corrupt and all that, people need to think again. So I would really like you to come you and the chair as my special guest. So I take you around. And also, I would like to take you up to the border with Somalia, and please don't be afraid. We will be escorted. I really want you to see, when I talk about the logistics, what I mean. I have this big number of employees because this service is in all the islands, and I have 9 islands which are inhabited, and each island has to have a dispensary, has to have ECD, and all these other. And in my constituency, one constituency, Lamu East, there's no water, so we have to run water desalination plants. We convert seawater into usable water. And when you see 81 million of fuel, part of that is to run, because if a county government cannot provide water to its people, then you have no basis to be there. So all this, when we sit in our offices in Nairobi, it's very hard to fathom what is really going on there. But otherwise, Chair and Senators, thank you very much for having us here. And I know that the Senate is the defender of devolution. There is a lot of clawback on devolution that is going on, and the only people who can save devolution are the senators. So thank you very much. And Senator Mogeni Biore, and please, I'm not doing this for the gallery. I really want you to come to Lamu. And before you leave, I'll give you my card pamoja na huyu ndugu yangu wataita hayuko mbali, lakini pengine hajafika Lamu pia.
Nimefika Mpeketoni, nimefika Lamu Island, nimekuja sana.
No, so you mnakuja the good areas. I want to take you huko so that you see what we go through. But otherwise, and the rest of the people here, we really appreciate. And nasema asante sana on behalf of my team. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Governor, for coming to this session and engagement where we account for the funds that we get from the exchequer. These are public funds, and we use the public funds on behalf of the people of Kenya. When you don't turn up to these engagements, like some governors have become very slippery, then how do you account? Number two, apart from just accounting, there's a lot of learning that goes into in these engagements. I also learn from you. We also learn a lot. In the 7 or so years I've been in this committee, I've learned so much. And so, Governor, as Senate, will continue fighting for more funds to go to counties. Lamu, just like Taita Taveta, these are the small counties, and Nyamira, which are getting very little funds. We cannot make it without devolution. Some of us in 2005, we fought this constitution because it didn't have well-defined devolution. In fact, some of us from the coast were fighting for Majimboism, regionalism, only that we were told it will balkanize Kenya. But the questions that were being asked to us and Lamu, how many votes are you bringing on the table so that we can get development? These questions will no longer be asked, because if we have our own money on the table, then we can do our own development. I'm happy, Governor, that we're able to fix or work towards fixing health, because in most counties, the healthcare system has collapsed. And if you can just fix that one, health, and also ECD, I'm very passionate about ECD, because most governors have taken a lot of money in scholarships and left their roles and the ECD and VTC, which are the devolved functions. But if you tell me VTCs are working and ECD is working and healthcare, then I would be very, very happy. Personally, I want to agree with Senator Argei that we were going for 465 billion, because there's a lot of money being left at the center in agriculture and in health. Why should we have all that money up there, yet the counties are starving of money? So some of us are very firm. We speak very softly, but extremely firm. And for the people who are misusing public funds with air travels and so on, let those audit queries remain. because then for us as Senate, we're trying to tighten up the laws, even if it means that after leaving governorship or CC or CCO and you stole money and there's that evidence, we want it to be followed. Even your assets can be fixed so that that money finally comes back to Lamu, finally comes back to Nyamira, finally comes back to Taita Taveta for their use, because we don't want people stealing from their own people. I want to leave it at this. I want to promise you that we'll come to Lamu. We'll come, all of us, EACC, Secretariat, all the senators. We want to come and appreciate that devolution is working in Lamu, so that we can give examples of small counties that are able to use whatever small they are given to serve people.
I've not been to Lamu myself.
This will be the first time. And I think Secretariat organized so that we have Lamu as one of the counties that would go to. We are going to Tana River, I think, very soon, Turkana. So it's not like governor that we're just here. We are moving across the country, also appreciating that the money that is going to counties is changing the lives of the people in our counties. So we will come there, and I know if what you've described is what is there, then you'll see very good things. I also want to appreciate the difficulties that you're telling us and the challenges. If you appreciate them and you come, the issues appear as queries, we'll be able to appreciate them more. Msafiri salama kwenda Kwale. Lamu, sorry, the sugars are very low because I've sat for a long time. And if there's anything that would require you to give extra information for the paragraphs that we've not looked at, we'll just write to you so that we give the extra information before we write our reports. The meeting stands adjourned until tomorrow 9:30. It's actually 10, but we'll meet here at 9:30 for the briefing. The meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.